Let's continue here on BOXTOROW. The DC Defenders win the UFL championship game. And big win for the DC Defenders over the St. Louis Battlehawks. And joining us, as a matter of fact, right here is the head coach of the DC Defenders, Shannon Harris, in his first season as the head coach. And of course, he's had coaching stops along the way: Virginia State, Alcorn, Alabama State, and Tennessee State as well. He's an alum, as a matter of fact, played quarterback back in the day at Tennessee State as he joins us here on the program. Coach Harris, congratulations. Welcome to BOXTOROW.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And thanks for having us on. And yeah, you said it, a few stops, HBCU world, and had an opportunity to do an internship with the Tennessee Titans, and that was amazing for me. The relationship that I built and created by doing that was amazing. So I still keep in touch with a lot of those guys, daily, weekly, monthly, however you may say it. But so all of those things, man, kind of helped me to be where I am today.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna talk about the championship game and the season, but to your point, I think that's an interesting place to start, because this is in part what the UFL is about. And you've gotten your opportunities, your college football, as you mentioned, that whole time. You had the opportunity with the Tennessee Titans. So just speak to the opportunity to be part of the UFL, and then how that could open up some other doors.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the UFL, our league, is very unique in this, give so many people opportunities, not just the players, but coaches. I mean, our equipment people, trainers, and strength and conditioning. For that matter, even the referees, everybody, is always getting those opportunities outside of, playing and coaching and doing all the things that people do within the league. So the league is a great league, and I tell you, so many people benefited from it. Even the NFL benefit from it because these players are already game ready. They're contact ready. They already been hit a lot, so by the time they get to camp and do things like that for the NFL, I mean, they've already had those hits on their body. So I tell you, like I said, the league itself is amazing. Create a lot of opportunity for everyone, and that's the part what's amazing about it.
Yeah, maybe even some of the camera angles, some of the rules to that point that the NFL has, it came from the UFL, no doubt. So how did you get involved? I guess you've got a long time relationship now with, of course, Reggie Barlow, who's now the head coach at Tennessee State, who was previously the coach of the DC Defenders. I'm sure that's how kind of you came into the UFL.
Yeah, Barlow and I, have developed a great relationship and have become really good friends. And yeah, that's kind of how it happened for me, getting into the league as well, because when he had the job and we all came in 2023, had some success, went to the championship game in the XFL. Last year, not as good. And I tell you, our GM, Vaughn Hutchins, did a great job of revamping our roster, getting it back to what it was in 2023. But right before Barlow took the job at Tennessee State, it was one of those things that I told my man I appreciate him going back to my school and taking over that program, because what a better person, he what a better person for it. And then it was like one of those things to where he gave me the keys to here and talked to our president and everyone else and said, the best person for this job would be Shannon. So and I told him I appreciate that for giving me that opportunity. And this is where we are now.
Yeah, can you speak to that? Like, you take over what, maybe a week or so before the start of the season. That had to be sort of a challenge.
Yeah, I tell you though, but I've had that question asked a good bit now, and so when you're preparing for this to be a head coach for the last 5 years of your career, you kind of waiting for that moment, right? And they always say that the cliche thing to say is always you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So For me, that's the thing that I continue to do is to stay ready for the moment and be ready for it. And when it presented itself, I was ready to take off. And having been familiar with the team itself, the culture of the team, and everyone with our surroundings made it easier. Everyone around each other. Our motto became a us, we, and ours. It was nothing like about one individual. So we all kind of rallied behind each other and just, took off from there.
Shannon Harris, he's in his first or just completed his first season as the head coach of the DC Defenders, who won the UFL championship this year. He joins us here on BOXTOROW. The Defenders defeated the St. Louis Battlehawks 36-18 last week. Your thoughts on the game and winning that championship?
Yeah, so the St. Louis one was the first playoff game that we played, and that was a huge win. Of course, Michigan was the one when we won the championship. So, uh, but we knew it was going to be a tough battle in the playoff. In that first round, and then getting to the championship. The biggest thing was making sure mentally we was there, physically we was there, and so all of that was great. We did a good job of critiquing our schedule on the back end of our schedule, especially once we clinched the playoff in week 8. So we did a good job of taking the pads off when we needed to, and giving our guys an opportunity to have their body recovered. But we still made sure guys were doing the right thing in the weight room, and then also getting that treatment because we still had two more games. And but you know those we know playoff football is totally different than regular season. So we got very physical in practice each week throughout the course leading up to that game. So um, and those guys bought into it. They embraced it. And so once they did that and did all those things the right way, we knew that we had a great opportunity to win both of those games. The first round of playoff and then in the championship game against Michigan.
Yeah, big win. I apologize. Big win over Michigan in the championship game in of itself. What did you learn about yourself as I believe what a first time head coach, right? On any level. What did you learn about yourself?
Well, so getting to be able to make sure that on all phases, like I've been a special team coach before as well, so I've already had that opportunity to work with defensive guys and knowing how to talk with the defensive guys and things like that. But even when I was the quarterback coach in the last 2 years before leading up to this season, I was always developing that relationship with the defensive players, as well, because knowing that one day I want to be a head coach, right? So guys, kind of already knew. Sometimes and oftentimes, like coaches only just deal with their side of the ball, don't touch the defense. Well, for me, uniquely, that I mean, I want to be a head coach one day, right? So I would always stay involved with special teams, even when I was coaching quarterbacks. So I wanted to get to know each player on our team because I need to know, like, how we can have that back and forth if they need to come talk to me about our offense or whatever going on or whatever it may have been. So I tell you, playing quarterback, that's kind of like something that you do second nature, as kind of you develop that team chemistry with everyone. And so me just going back to my roots of playing and those things, it was kind of easy for me to just transition over there. And the biggest challenge for me was just, the game management of the game. You know what I'm saying? The players' engagement and things like that was easy for me. It was just the game management of everything. And so, that was a week by week thing within its own self, from a game management standpoint. But, we had a good coach. We have a great coaching staff. So we were all able to, I was able to lean on a lot of guys for that, and that helped me out for sure.
Shannon Harris, the head football coach of the DC Defenders, joining us for a couple of more moments here on the program. So, what sort of does maybe in particular for you, what does sort of the off season look like? How does that, permeate itself in the UFL?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we have these clinics going on, camps and stuff like that, to where we, do things with kids. But then we have our showcases. We have at least 7 or 8 showcases throughout the year, um, from the summer to fall, to where you're looking at new talent, and then we have a draft, and our GM kind of handled that part, and so to get new talent on the team, because we know that I know for a fact we're going to lose a few more guys back to the NFL, which is great, and that's what our league for. So a lot of the guys that didn't get drafted or have been released or cut from NFL teams early from OTAs or from training camp, even throughout after preseason. And that's when our biggest uh, draft come from, of guys after that preseason of the NFL, which everyone now go through the entire preseason in the NFL. So once that over, we're able to select guys from that as well, and you kind of build your team again from that, knowing that you done lost players back to the NFL and guys done signed contracts. So that's kind of how that is for us, and you try to make sure your team is intact and go from there.
What do you remember about those days at playing ball playing quarterback specifically at Tennessee State?
I tell you, we had a really good team. We had some really good coaches. A lot of our guys or have that I know that coach when I was there, either in the NFL, they're coaching Power Five, or now it's Power Four football somewhere. And some guys, probably head high school coaches or principals, or athletic directors somewhere in high school. But I just remember we have a good coaching staff, and then our players, we had a really good roster, and the journey was fun. Competing and battling against guys like Tony Romo. We had some battles against each other at Eastern Illinois, and so a lot of high scoring games, and so just all those things, having fun with those guys and competing out there, winning games, of course. And so, to see how those guys rallied behind me, it's kind of like how our team did against with Jordan this past weekend in the championship game. When he didn't win MVP, the entire team just kind of rallied behind him, right? So that was kind of the same way with my team that, at Tennessee State. Those guys rallied behind me every game.
Yeah, and then I think, and finally, and I think what's great about the UFL is you know what it is. Like, you're going to get other opportunities. It's not like, okay, you go to a spot and then people are salty because you move on. This is what, in part, this is about. So, sort of maybe what's next for you? What's your ultimate goal? Are you ultimately looking to be a head coach in the National Football League and college? What's sort of next? What's your ultimate goal, and maybe what's next for you?
Yeah, the ceiling's still high, there's no cutoff yet. And, as long as I'm willing to still learn and grow, yeah, ultimately, yeah, want to go into the NFL and coach at that level, wherever that may take me, because that's the highest level of football for us, right? So, wherever it may be within the NFL, that's the ultimate goal. And then, we'll let hey, wherever the good Lord lead us from there, we'll go there, and let the chips lay where they may. But ultimately, yeah, that's a big goal for me, and we'll see how it go.
And of course, the DC Defenders, UFL champions, of course, knocked off Michigan 58-34 in the UFL championship game. Just completing his first season as the head coach of the Defenders, Shannon Harris, Tennessee State alum, joins us here on BOXTOROW. Coach Harris, appreciate the time. Continued success to you and the Defenders.
Thank you, I appreciate it greatly, and thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.